Hey guys, tonight we drift back to the edge of the known world, year 1587. You're aboard a creaking wooden ship called the Lion, your hands sticky with salt and your head spinning from weeks of endless gray water. The wind moans through torn sails like a tired ghost, and every rope hums with tension. The deck tilts beneath your feet, rocking you into a half-hypnotic rhythm. Someone nearby coughs up seawater, someone else prays. You, though, you're staring at the horizon, chasing a dream shaped like a new world. You probably won't survive this. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, comment below where you're listening from and what time it is there. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The year is 1587, and England hums with ambition. Queen Elizabeth's court buzzes about exploration, wealth, and planting the first true English colony in the Americas. You, one of 115 hopeful settlers, board this ship with stars in your eyes and blisters on your palms. London feels like another lifetime now, a blur of smoke and noise and too many hungry mouths. Here, the world feels endless, raw, and full of promise. The sea stretches out like a vast blue field, sometimes calm as glass, sometimes furious enough to make you swear it's alive. Salt crusts your lips, and each sunrise blazes in gold over the water, teasing you with beauty just before the storm's return. The captain shouts orders over the roar of wind, and the crew scurries like ants, some seasoned sailors, others wide-eyed like you, still learning how to find balance on the shifting planks. When night falls, you lie awake listening to the groans of the ship, the flutter of sails, the rhythmic crash of waves. The stars are your only companions, cold and unreachable. Someone starts a story about the new world, how the air smells like flowers, how the soil is so rich you can grow anything, how the natives are friendly and trade willingly. But someone else whispers darker rumors. Failed colonies, missing explorers, strange sicknesses that make men vanish overnight. You try to ignore the fear. You tell yourself you'll be different. You'll survive, you'll thrive, maybe even build something that lasts. Historians still argue whether these early colonists understood what they were walking into, or if they were just victims of blind faith and bad timing. But right now, you're too busy holding onto the rail and trying not to vomit as another wave smashes against the hull. Days blur into weeks. Food grows stale. The ship's hold smells of mold and sweat and fear. You think about home, about the promise of land and freedom, about the Queen's golden seal on your charter. You imagine fields under warm sunlight, not this endless churning water. Then one morning, the cry goes up, "Land ho!" You scramble to the deck, heart hammering. There it is, a thin green line on the horizon. After months of monotony, it feels like salvation. The air thickens, heavy with warmth and the scent of pine. The sailors cheer, but beneath the noise, you sense a strange stillness, as if the sea itself is holding its breath. You stare at that rising shore and imagine your future there. Farms, laughter, children running between cabins. But something in your gut twists. The island looks both inviting and ancient, like it's seen 1,000 other hopeful faces before yours. You wonder how many of them the land kept. That night, the ship anchors offshore, the water glowing faintly under a sliver of moonlight. You can hear insects singing from the trees, a new sound after months of ocean silence. It's beautiful, but it feels aware. Watching. You close your eyes, the gentle sway of the ship lulling you toward uneasy dreams. Tomorrow you'll step onto Roanoke Island, the beginning of something grand, or the start of a mystery that will haunt centuries. For now, you let the ocean's breath rock you to sleep, the world balance between discovery and disappearance. Morning rises soft and gold, sunlight spilling through the damp mist as your ship drifts closer to shore. You squint through the haze and finally see it, the island of Roanoke, your promised new home. It looks wild and endless, a tangle of green that hums with life. The air tastes different here, sweet and earthy, and you can almost forget how long you've spent breathing in salt and rot. Almost. The rowboats are lowered, and you climb in, hands gripping the edge as oars slice through the water. The island grows larger with every pull, trees leaning over the sand like silent witnesses. You feel the heat first, thick, heavy, clinging to your skin. It smells of pine and wet soil and something faintly smoky, like an old campfire that never truly went out. When the boat's nose hits the sand, you jump into the shallows, your boots sinking into the mud. For a moment, everything is still. Then a gull screams overhead, and it feels like a signal. The new world officially sees you. The others begin unloading supplies, barrels, tools, crates of seeds. John White, the governor of this little dream, calls out instructions. His voice sounds hopeful, maybe too hopeful. You watch him kneel, press a hand to the sand, and whisper something you can't hear. He's already planning where to build the homes, the fort, the future. You follow the group inland, hacking through vines and ferns that seem determined to swallow every inch of space. The ground squelches under your boots. Mosquitoes hover like tiny demons. Still, there's beauty here. Flowers the color of fire, birds that look like moving jewels, sunlight slicing through the canopy in ribbons of gold. You think this could work. But the first hours are harder than you expected. Tools break. Tempers snap. The air feels thick enough to drink. You notice that the island isn't silent. There's always a rustle, a murmur, like something moving just out of sight. A few of the sailors whisper about the natives, the Croatoan people who live nearby. Some settlers insist they're friendly, others say they're dangerous. Historians still argue whether the English ever truly tried to coexist with them or simply pretended until they got what they wanted. At night, the fires burn low. The island hums with sound, frogs, insects, distant howls that might be animals or something else. You lie awake on your rough blanket, the stars half hidden by the trees. You remember the stories told back in London, about riches, freedom, new beginnings. You realize now how those words never mention the loneliness. Still, you rise with the dawn and keep working. You build a crude fence, mark off patches of land, and drag logs until your muscles tremble. The sound of hammers echoes through the humid air, mixing with birdsong and the dull rhythm of waves. The colony begins to take shape, rough, small, but real. Every now and then, you catch John White sketching in his notebook, capturing the strange plants and the even stranger insects. He says it's all for the Queen, for the record, for history. You wonder if he realizes history might not remember your faces, only your disappearance. By the third week, you've carved a path from the shore to the heart of the settlement. The homes rise like crooked teeth, roofs patched with bark and reeds. Children laugh as they chase each other through the mud. You almost believe it, the dream of permanence. But the island watches. You feel it every time the wind shifts through the trees, every time the shadows move at the edge of sight. One night, you swear you hear voices in the woods, soft, rhythmic, not English. You listen, holding your breath, until the forest swallows the sound. You tell yourself it's nothing, just the mind playing tricks after too many sleepless nights. Still, as you close your eyes, the word Croatoan drifts through your mind like a half-remembered prayer. The island has accepted you, but it has not promised to let you go. The days settle into rhythm, hammering, hauling, and hoping. You wake before sunrise to the sound of gulls and the smell of smoke from last night's fire. The air is already warm, heavy with humidity that makes your shirt cling to your skin. You grab your hatchet and step outside your small, rough shelter, half wood, half faith, and glance at the clearing that's slowly becoming a village. You've built fences, carved out fields, and even managed to laugh once or twice when someone's roof collapses mid-construction. It's chaos, but it's progress. For now, you've learned to ration everything: flour, powder, patience. Every meal feels like gambling. Will there be enough for tomorrow? The water tastes strange sometimes, metallic and thick. A few settlers have fallen ill already, their skin pale and their breath shallow. You dig graves quietly, marking them with simple crosses. Nobody speaks during those burials. There's no priest here, no comfort, only the creak of branches and the hiss of the wind through reeds. Still, Governor John White walks among the settlers with the air of a man who refuses to see despair. "We're building something eternal," he says, and you almost believe him. He sketches the houses, the plants, the faces, He wants every detail preserved, as if drawing it will make it survive. Historians still argue whether White was a dreamer or a realist, whether he saw the danger or simply chose not to. The days stretch on. You plant corn in the loose soil, but the growth is stubborn. The sun bakes the ground by noon, and sudden rains flood it by night. The fish seem plentiful until they don't, and hunting is harder than anyone admitted back in England. You begin to understand why earlier colonies failed. The wilderness doesn't care about your promises. One afternoon, you're repairing a roof when a shout goes up from the treeline. Everyone freezes. A small group appears, men from the nearby Croatoan tribe. They approach slowly, weapons slung but not raised. You can't read their faces. White steps forward, offering a few trinkets, mirrors, beads, a scrap of metal. There's a moment of tense silence, then one of the natives nods. A fragile peace begins. Over the next weeks, a tentative exchange grows. They bring food, corn, smoked fish, baskets of herbs, and you trade tools and cloth. You watch their movements, graceful and sure, and you envy how easily they exist in this place that still feels alien to you. Some settlers whisper that the Croatoan are watching too closely, learning too much. Others think they're the only reason you're still alive. One night, as you're sitting near the fire, an older settler mutters, "This land don't want us here." You look around at the dark forest, the flicker of the flames casting shapes that look almost human. He's not wrong. The island feels aware, pulsing beneath your feet like a sleeping thing. Then comes the first storm. Thunder cracks open the sky, rain falling like the ocean itself is collapsing. Roofs tear away. Fires hiss out. You grab what you can and huddle inside the fort, the walls shaking. When morning comes, the camp is half gone, supplies drenched, crops flattened. You find footprints near the edge of the clearing, but you can't tell whose they are. That night, a new sound creeps in, the quiet sobbing of someone who's lost everything they carried from home. It echoes softly, mixing with the rhythmic wash of the waves. The colony survives, barely. But the cracks are showing, between settlers, between allies, even between faith and fear. You can feel the thin thread of hope stretching too far, ready to snap. You stare out toward the black water, thinking of England, of comfort, of dry clothes and bread that isn't gritty with sand. The stars glimmer faintly above, and you wonder if anyone back home is thinking of you. Somewhere in the woods, an owl cries. It sounds eerily like laughter. The woods begin whispering. Not loudly, never loud enough to be sure, but just enough to make you pause when the wind moves through the pines. Every crack of a branch sounds deliberate. Every shadow between the trunks seems to linger too long. You start to realize the forest isn't just background, it's the island's heartbeat, ancient and watching. By now, the settlement feels fragile. Half-built homes lean against one another for support, like tired men. The food stores are shrinking, and tempers flare easily. A small disagreement over salt turns into a fistfight. Someone mutters that the Croatoan tribe has been withholding supplies, that they're testing you. Someone else swears it's the settlers' own fault, too proud, too clumsy to learn from those who actually know the land. Historians still argue whether it was mistrust or starvation that first splintered the fragile peace here. John White tries to keep order, his voice steady even as his hands shake when he thinks no one's looking. He organizes hunting parties, assigns patrols, draws maps, sketches plans that might be useful. But you can tell he's tired. His optimism has started to sound like denial. One morning, you're sent to gather wood near the treeline. The forest floor is soft with fallen leaves, and beams of sunlight cut through the canopy like golden knives. For a while, it's almost peaceful. You even start humming a tune from home. But then you notice it, the silence. The insects stop buzzing. The air thickens. A faint whisper, almost words, almost human, drifts between the trees. You turn, heart thudding, and see nothing. Just endless trunks fading into mist. You hurry back to camp, but when you mention it, no one laughs this time. They've all heard something too. That night, as you sit near the dying fire, one of the younger settlers tells a story that the island was once home to spirits who guarded it against intruders, that disturbing the soil without offering respect brings misfortune. Another man scoffs and throws a stick into the flames, but when it lands, The fire crackles in a strange, sharp hiss, almost like a whispering no. Everyone goes quiet after that. Over the next few days, odd things happen. Tools go missing, then reappear somewhere else. Footprints are found near the edge of the fort, leading in from the woods but never back out. A child swears she saw someone standing between the trees, just watching, face painted white. The settlers are divided. Some insist it's natives testing you, others say it's fear making ghosts out of shadows. You can't decide which thought is worse. At dusk, John White holds a small meeting by lantern light. His face looks older now, the lines deeper. He speaks softly, saying he must return to England soon for more supplies, that the colony can't survive otherwise. The words fall heavy in the humid air. No one argues, because everyone knows he's right. Later, when you walk back to your hut, the forest feels closer than it did yesterday. You can hear distant drumming, faint and steady, coming from somewhere across the water. The rhythm follows you all the way to your door. You lie awake, tracing shapes in the shadows. You think about how small the colony really is, just a handful of wooden walls in a vast, unknowable wilderness. You think about the Croatoan people, the stories, the forest that breathes and listens. You wonder whether the island wants you here at all. Somewhere outside, a branch snaps. Then silence. Long, perfect silence. You hold your breath until sleep finally drags you under, uneasy and dreamless. By morning, one of the watchmen is gone. No signs of struggle. Just vanished. His post still warm, his musket still leaning against the fence. The woods don't whisper today. They're quiet, waiting. Dawn breaks gray and uncertain. The fort smells of damp wood and smoke, and the air hums with quiet tension. The missing watchman's absence hangs heavier than the mist itself. No one says it, but everyone feels it. Roanoke is beginning to eat away at your nerves. Governor John White stands near the shore, staring out at the ocean as if he could summon a ship by will alone. The settlers gather around him, exhausted faces turned toward a leader who's starting to look just as lost as the rest of you. He clears his throat and announces what you've all been dreading. He's sailing back to England. He'll bring more supplies, more men, more hope. The silence that follows is thick. Someone finally asks, "How long?" He hesitates, just a breath, but enough. "A few months, perhaps," he says, forcing a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. You all nod, pretending that sounds reasonable. But you've lived here long enough to know that nothing about this land, or this sea, is predictable. Historians still argue whether John White ever truly intended to return swiftly or whether the politics and storms that followed made it impossible. Either way, you watch the promise leave his lips and feel it crumble before it lands. Preparations begin that afternoon. The settlers gather supplies for White's departure. Sketches, notes, samples of plants to show the backers in London. He insists on documenting everything, every detail of the colony that might help secure its future. You help him pack, feeling the tremor in his hand as he ties the final knot on a crate of parchments. When the day comes, the sea is restless. The settlers stand in a ragged line along the beach as the small boat pulls away from the shore, John White inside, his hand raised in farewell. The wind tugs at your clothes, salt spray stinging your face. You wave until the figure becomes a dot against the gray horizon. And then he's gone. For a while, things continue as normal. If normal still means hunger, fear, and uneasy peace. But without White's steady presence, leadership fragments. Small groups form, each with their own ideas of what to do. Some want to move inland to find safer ground. Others say you should wait. White promised he'd come back soon. You try to believe that. Every morning you walk to the shore, scanning the horizon for a ship's white sails. But the ocean remains blank, wide, and cruelly beautiful. Weeks slide into months. The weather worsens, storms tearing at the roofs you've just repaired. The fish vanish from the shallows, and even the Croatoan traders stop coming as often. When they do appear, they're quieter, distant. You see it in their eyes. They think you won't last the winter. Maybe they're right. You carve marks into a tree near your hut to count the days. After a while, you stop. The settlement shrinks around you. Every morning, someone new talks about leaving, sailing to Croatoan Island, or moving north where the soil might be better. But without a ship, most are trapped, bound to this stretch of sand and swamp. At night, you dream of England, but even your memories feel warped now, fading at the edges. The sea hums in your skull, constant and unending. Then one evening, a child asks her mother when the man with the white hair will come back. The mother hesitates, then says softly, "Soon." You both know it's a lie. By the fire, someone starts humming a tune, an old sailor's song about men lost at sea. The words drift over the camp like mist. No sails, no stars, no way home. You listen, eyes closed, and realize you can't remember what your own street back in England smelled like. All you have now is this island, this strange, breathing place that watches you more closely every day. And far out beyond the waves, John White's ship sails toward home, but home has already forgotten you. The weeks after White's departure stretch out like an endless fog. Time loses its edges, days melt into nights, and the colony drifts into quiet survival. You wake each morning to the same gray light, the same uneasy rhythm of waves, the same question whispered by every face around you. When is he coming back? At first, everyone tries to hold on to routine. The hunters go out before dawn. The farmers tend to the stubborn patches of corn that refuse to grow. Mothers hush crying children with promises of ships on the horizon. But soon, even those rituals feel hollow. The air itself feels heavier, thick with waiting. Food grows scarce. You learn to stretch every scrap, fish bones boiled into thin broth, berries crushed into pulp for a taste of sweetness. You start to recognize the sound of an empty stomach not as hunger but as a heartbeat. A few settlers vanish into the forest, claiming they'll search for friendlier land. They never return. You try not to count them among the dead. When the wind howls at night, the huts rattle like they're breathing. You hear things then, soft, distant laughter, or voices murmuring in a language you don't know. Sometimes it's close enough that you reach for your knife. Other times, it feels like it's coming from beneath the ground itself. Still, the settlers cling to hope. You carve "White will return" into a log by the fire, as if writing it makes it true. But the sea stays silent. Historians still argue how long the colony truly waited. Some say months, others believe it stretched past a year. All agree on one thing: isolation changes people. You start to feel it in your bones, that slow unraveling of what it means to belong anywhere. The Croatoan visits become rarer, their gifts smaller. When they come, they speak in clipped tones, their eyes wary. You sense a line has been crossed, though you don't know when. One night, a young man named George swears he saw torches moving through the trees. No one believes him until the next morning when you find arrows embedded in the fence posts. Warning or message, no one can tell. After that, fear becomes a constant companion. The colony splits into smaller groups. Some build higher fences, others retreat into the woods to hunt or hide. You hear rumors that a few families have gone to live with the Croatoan tribe for protection. Maybe it's smart. Maybe it's surrender. The storms grow worse. The sky feels closer now, pressing down in gray sheets of rain. The river floods. A house collapses. A mother weeps as the water takes what little she had left. You help her rebuild, but she doesn't speak again for days. At night, you dream of England, the sound of bells, the smell of bread, the laughter of strangers in the street. But when you wake, those memories feel thin, like you've stolen them from someone else. The waves outside whisper and pull at the sand, erasing footprints before the next sunrise. You stop counting the days entirely. The firewood runs low, and the fields are nearly bare. You start marking time by the moon instead, the thin silver sliver that grows, fades, and grows again. Each cycle feels heavier than the last. Then one morning you notice the silence. No birds, no insects, no voices. Just still air. You step outside and realize you're alone. Not completely, there are still people here, somewhere, but the fort feels hollow, as if half the colony has quietly vanished overnight. You call out, but your voice feels swallowed by the fog. There are tracks leading toward the forest, bare feet, dragging lines, a trail that disappears at the tree line. You think of following, but something in you hesitates. You look up at the sky, where the clouds move in slow, heavy waves. The world feels paused, caught between breath and surrender. The sea remains unchanged, a dull stretch of gray, patient and vast. Somewhere beyond it, maybe John White still means to return. But here, on Roanoke, time has stopped waiting for him. The day John White finally returns, the world feels eerily still. It's 1,593 years since he sailed away. The ocean, once a roaring monster, now glides smooth and silent beneath his ship's hull. The sailors lean over the rail, peering toward the shoreline of Roanoke Island, searching for the familiar smoke of campfires, the glint of sunlight on rooftops. There's nothing, just a shoreline wrapped in mist. You stand at his side, at least in this story you do. You can almost hear the groan of the anchor chain as it lowers, the soft thud of the rowboat scraping against the sand. For a long moment, no one moves. It's too quiet. No voices. No laughter. No barking dogs or crying infants. The island that once throbbed with life is utterly still. The men wade ashore, their boots sinking into the same mud that once clung to your own feet years ago. The path from the beach is overgrown, swallowed by vines and weeds. Trees have pushed their roots through places that used to be clear. Time has erased nearly every trace of the colony. They reach the fort and stop. The wooden walls are still standing, but they look wrong, weathered and gray, like bones left too long in the sun. There's no sign of struggle. No bodies. No broken doors or burned huts. Just emptiness. The settlement is eerily neat, almost careful in its absence. White calls out, voice trembling, "Eleanor." Ananias. His daughter and grandchild, the ones he dreamed of reuniting with. Only the wind answers. Inside one of the posts, someone has carved a single word, Croatoan. The letters are sharp and deliberate, freshly cut before they left. On another tree, just 3 letters, Q, scratched as if the carver was interrupted. Historians still argue whether this was a clue or a final farewell. Was it a message, a direction, or simply an echo of desperation? The sailors search the area for hours. They find no graves, no signs of battle, no torn clothing or weapons. Everything that could be carried is gone. Even the heavy chests that once held tools and trade goods have vanished. White kneels beside the carved word, his hand trembling as he traces the grooves. "They must have gone to Croatoan Island," he murmurs. His face flickers with hope. That was the plan, after all. If forced to move, they would carve that name as a sign. He orders the men to sail there immediately. But the sea, as always, has its own plans. A storm rolls in that night, hammering the ship with waves so fierce they have to cut anchor and flee to deeper waters. The wind howls through the rigging, rain slashing across their faces like glass. When morning comes, the island of Roanoke is just a shadow behind them, swallowed again by mist. They never make it to Croatoan. Supplies run low. The crew grows restless. White argues, pleads, but the captain refuses to risk another storm. They turn back for England, leaving the mystery behind, unfinished, unanswered, unsolved. You can imagine White standing at the ship's stern, watching the gray horizon fade. Maybe he wonders if they're alive, if his daughter and granddaughter are safe, living peacefully with the Croatoan people. Or maybe he fears what the silence really means. No records ever show that he saw them again. Centuries later, explorers and archaeologists would dig into the soil, searching for clues, bits of pottery, shards of armor, fragments of a life lost to time. Each discovery raises more questions than answers. The island remains quiet, stubbornly guarding its secrets. As the waves lap at the abandoned shore, you can almost hear them, echoes of laughter, hammers striking wood, the low hum of human hope. Then, nothing. Just the wind, whispering through the reeds, repeating that one carved word again and again. That single word, Croatoan, has haunted centuries of sleepless minds. It wasn't written in panic or haste. The carving was steady, measured, deliberate. Whoever cut it wanted it to last, wanted it to be found. And yet, it's all that remains of more than 100 vanished souls. You picture it now, half covered in moss, the letters catching the glow of sunset. The word hums with meaning, though no one can say exactly what it means. It's like a whisper through time, a riddle too faint to solve. Croatoan. The name refers to a nearby island, modern-day Hatteras Island, home to the Croatoan people, one of the native groups who had once traded with and sometimes befriended the English settlers. John White had known them, trusted them even. Before leaving for England, he told the colonists that if they ever had to move, they should carve Croatoan somewhere visible. It was their agreed-upon signal of safety. So perhaps they did survive. You imagine the colonists packing quietly one morning. The crops have failed again, their food stores nearly gone. Maybe the natives offer them a choice: come live with us or stay here and die. The colonists look at their children, at the empty barrels, at the long, hungry months ahead. Then they decide. They carve the word carefully into wood, as promised, and follow their new allies into the forest. The wind carries their footprints away, but not the memory. White never reached Croatoan Island to check. The storm stopped him. And so, that moment, his choice to turn back, froze the story forever. Every theory since then has spun from that single pause in history. Some say the colonists assimilated, blending with the Croatoan people, intermarrying and living out quiet lives under new names. In the 1600s and 1700s, travelers wrote of Native American families who had gray eyes and could speak a few English words. It's not proof, but it's something, like a faint echo of a voice half remembered in a dream. Others think the settlers moved inland, toward the Chesapeake, and perished there. Disease, drought, or conflict could have ended them, leaving no trace but rumor. And then there are darker theories. Ones whispered late at night when the wind shifts and the fire burns low. Some believe the word Croatoan wasn't a message, but a curse. Over time, it began to appear in stranger places, carved into the door of Edgar Allan Poe's hospital room before his mysterious death, found in the notebook of horror writer Ambrose Bierce before he disappeared, etched onto Amelia Earhart's missing plane in the tales that drift between fact and legend. Of course, none of that can be proven. But that's the power of Roanoke's silence. It pulls in everything, every mystery, every ghost story, every human need to explain the unexplainable. Maybe the truth is simple. The colonists survived, adapted, and quietly became part of another world. Or maybe the sea claimed them all, one by one, as it has claimed so many who dared to reach beyond the map. Still, when you close your eyes, you can feel the word in your mind like a pulse. Croatoan. It beats like a heartbeat, slow and steady, calling you across 4 centuries of wondering. The waves break softly outside the fort's ruins, as if still whispering that ancient clue. The stars shimmer above the island, unchanged, uncaring. Somewhere out there, perhaps in a forgotten grave beneath the dunes or deep in a coastal forest, the truth sleeps. And the world keeps listening. From that moment on, Roanoke becomes more than a lost colony. It becomes a story the world cannot stop telling. You drift through the centuries, a silent observer, watching historians, writers, and curious souls unravel every possible explanation. Each theory is a thread, tugging at the ragged fabric of what might have been. Some say the settlers moved inland, seeking fertile lands or refuge from harsh coastal storms. You imagine them trudging through forests, carving trails in the wilderness, hunting deer, and learning from the Croatoan only enough to survive. Perhaps their children grew up speaking 2 languages, caught between worlds. Maybe the adults died quietly of disease or starvation, leaving no trace behind. The land swallows everything eventually. Other theories paint a darker picture. There are tales of hostile attacks, from neighboring tribes, from rival Europeans, from an indifferent nature striking back. Some settlers may have fought, fallen, vanished. You picture night raids, arrows in the dark, and fires flaring against the inky woods. It's terrifying and almost plausible, and yet, nothing concrete remains. Then there's the idea of assimilation, the one that feels almost gentle. You can see it clearly, the colonists choosing to integrate with the Croatoan people, exchanging customs, language, and life itself. The families become part of the island, the children running barefoot through dense forests, learning both ways to hunt, to fish, to live off the land. In this version, the disappearance isn't tragedy, it's adaptation. Fringe theories creep in, whispered by those who love mystery. Some say the colony was abducted by aliens, others suggest supernatural forces, curses invoked by disturbing the island's ancient spirits. You hear them all in quiet museums or online forums, and you wonder how the same word, Croatoan, can generate so many divergent fates. Every attempt to explain Roanoke has holes. Archaeologists dig and find shards of pottery or bits of bone. Researchers examine oral histories from local tribes. Occasionally, they spot settlers' descendants, their eyes lighter than usual, their English rusty but there. Historians still argue whether any of these fragments can truly solve the puzzle or simply reinforce it. You sense the obsession in people's eyes. Everyone wants closure, yet closure is an illusion. Each generation projects its fears, hopes, and fantasies onto the island. Roanoke becomes a mirror, reflecting what the world most wants to believe about courage, survival, and human curiosity. And somehow, in all this, you, the observer in the story, feel the weight of those missing souls. Every theory is a lifeline tossed into the mist, but none can quite grasp them. You realize that sometimes, the story itself matters more than the truth. It's the whisper of human ambition, the tension between hope and fear, the impossibility of control over nature. At night, you walk along the empty shore. The waves lap softly, and the wind carries fragments of long-lost voices. Each theory, the assimilation, the starvation, the attacks, mixes into a single hum. It's a lullaby of absence, a rhythm that makes your chest ache with wonder and sorrow. You close your eyes and let the past fold into the present. You can almost hear them laughing, building, hoping, fading into silence. Roanoke is not just a mystery, it's a memory, and you are part of it now, a witness to its echoes. Time rolls forward like the tide, and the story of Roanoke seeps into every corner of culture, reshaped by art, legend, and imagination. You drift through this echo of history, noticing how the vanished colony inspires novels, paintings, and plays, each retelling bending reality slightly to fit the storyteller's vision. The island itself becomes a character, a stage set for human fear and fascination. You see Victorian writers weaving cautionary tales, children wandering into the forest, settlers lost in mist, the single word, Croatoan, glowing with ominous significance. Later, Hollywood imagines monsters, curses, and alien abductions. Roanoke morphs into every culture's version of suspense, a canvas for the imagination. The facts, the children, the gardens, the daily struggle for survival, blur, replaced by stories of terror and mystery. Historians still argue over what really happened, but the public prefers the allure of the unknown. Museums display maps and sketches John White made, often romanticizing a world full of brave pioneers and looming danger. You walk those halls in your mind, listening to guides speak with certainty that no one can truly claim. The air smells of dust and polished wood, and somewhere, a recording repeats a version of events that is half fact, half fantasy. Even songs and folklore carry traces of Roanoke. Local legends in the Carolinas whisper of settlers who joined native tribes, their bloodlines lingering quietly in communities unaware of their ancestry. Some swear they've seen faint traces of European clothing peeking from forest undergrowth or heard a faint English lullaby carried on the wind. The island feeds the imagination endlessly, and yet the sea remains unchanged. Waves crash against the shore with the same patient rhythm, indifferent to centuries of human speculation. You sense a paradox. Roanoke is gone, but it never disappears. Its story grows taller with each retelling, its ghosts multiplying. Children read about it in history books, adults debate it in forums, and travelers trace its beaches, hoping for a sign. The rhythm of your footsteps along the imagined shoreline mirrors the slow beat of time itself. The settlement's failure and disappearance echo in modern explorations of human ambition, courage, and error. You feel the weight of generations, all trying to comprehend what nature and circumstance have erased. At night, you lie under the stars again, imagining the vanished colonists walking among the trees or standing on the shore. Their laughter and struggle are woven into the fabric of the island, immortalized in legend. You realize Roanoke is not just a mystery, it's a story that refuses to end, a bridge between the past and every future imagination brave enough to wonder. In this quiet reflection, you feel a strange peace. The colonists may be gone, but their legacy whispers still. And you, listening through time, become part of that endless echo. You return at last to the quiet shore. The wind drifts lazily through the trees, carrying salt and the faint, distant cry of gulls. The sun hangs low, turning the water to liquid gold, and for a moment, the world feels suspended. You can almost see the settlers again, the children running barefoot through the sand, the adults hauling water and tools, laughter mingling with the hum of the ocean. But they are ghosts now, shadows folded into the island itself. Walking along the empty beach, you notice the driftwood, the scattered shells, the way the waves lap gently at the shore, erasing footprints as if reminding you that time moves differently here. The carved word, Croatoan, lingers in your mind, a pulse that won't fade. You think of John White, the storm that stopped him, the missed reunion, and the centuries of questions left unanswered. It's a riddle that even the ocean cannot solve. The wind carries whispers from the forest, the rustle of leaves, the low murmur of hidden streams, perhaps even the faintest echo of voices long gone. You remember the stories the older settlers told, about spirits, about survival, about the strange pulse of life that continues even in absence. Every fragment you've encountered, the artifacts, the oral traditions, the theories, folds into this present moment, making the mystery feel alive, intimate, personal. You step further into the sand, letting the cool water lap at your feet. The weight of centuries presses lightly on your shoulders, soft and non-threatening. You breathe in deeply, tasting salt and faint decay, feeling the ocean's timeless rhythm align with your own heartbeat. Somewhere, perhaps, the colonists have merged with the land, the tribes, the ocean, existing in ways unseen but real. You pause and close your eyes. The sun slips lower, scattering pink and lavender across the waves. The island exhales softly around you, the trees bowing in gentle acknowledgement. The past and present intertwine. The mystery does not frighten you anymore. It soothes. You sense that some stories are meant not to be solved but to be felt, traced through imagination and memory like footprints in sand that vanish before the tide. A gull circles overhead. You listen to the whisper of waves, the rustle of reeds, the soft sigh of history itself. Roanoke does not demand answers. It offers wonder, patience, and the humbling knowledge that human curiosity can carry across centuries. And you let yourself walk slowly back along the shore, the sun dipping beneath the horizon, the day folding into the night, carrying with it the soft, eternal echo of lives lived, lost, and remembered. The sky fades from gold to deep indigo, and the first stars prick through the darkness, delicate and steady. You walk barefoot along the edge of the water, letting the gentle waves lap at your toes, each pull and retreat a soothing rhythm that matches the slow beat of your heart. The air is cooler now, carrying the scent of salt, pine, and damp earth, a quiet perfume that lulls your thoughts into calm reflection. You sit on a driftwood log, letting your hands rest in your lap, feeling the grain of the wood against your fingers. The sound of the ocean is constant, rhythmic, a soft white noise that smooths the edges of your mind. Each wave seems to whisper the same word, Croatoan. But now it carries no warning, no fear, only a gentle reminder of lives that once moved across this land, their stories folded into the soil and sea. The trees sway lazily, the leaves rustling like a lullaby. Somewhere deep in the forest, a bird calls, a long, clear note that echoes across the sand. You breathe it in, letting the tension of days and centuries settle, accepting that some mysteries are meant to remain unclaimed. The island holds its secrets softly now, patient, timeless, and strangely comforting. You close your eyes, imagining the settlers building their homes, the children running, the adults laughing despite hardship. You feel their presence not as absence, but as memory woven into the waves, the wind, the trees. The story that once filled you with questions now fills you with quiet wonder. The stars above twinkle faintly, mirrored by the gentle shimmer of the sea. You lean back, letting the soft hum of night wrap around you, slow and warm, guiding your mind toward rest. Each breath draws you deeper into calm, and as the island's whispers fade into a distant lullaby, you realize the story has already carried you halfway into dreams.